Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and that was a bird flying right over my head. Hi, Cecil. Do you need attention? Silly bird. You know I come play with you after I'm done recording. Maybe that's why he's getting jumpy. Alright, so before we get too far, let's go ahead and roll the die for our soundtrack choice. Looks like we're doing... Oh, wait. No, that's piano solos again. Alright, well, if we get that a third time in a row, you know what we have to do. Alright, so... what we doing today, Brian? I think today the right choice is to do a mono air build. Now, I don't usually spend so much time doing mono elemental runs. But what's getting me to do this one is I was recently reading over some posts and on my Discord, I should clarify. And I recently came across one's opinion on... See, I know I can do that as a signature, but I'm not going to because I want to do shearing chain. At least I think I do. What else could I do? I recently came across a rather interesting opinion stating how weak one feels that the air element is. And I will say this: wind doesn't always have the absolute strongest spells, but it's also got far from the weakest as well. So, in order to kind of dispel that idea and prove a point, we are going to take an air-based Dark Katana build, and actually no, maybe not Dark Katana. Maybe what I should do is go with something a little bit more generalized. But this is what I came up with first, so I'm going with it. And the reason why I'm just straight going air and Dark Katana instead of like doing something a little bit more... Hold on, I want to see something. So half the critical chance, but also increases general damage. Now I'm gonna do the Awe Robe a second time in a row, why not? But yeah, the reason why I'm choosing to go this route is mostly because it just... This is what I was thinking in my head, and when you think of air builds, you typically don't immediately go, yeah, that's the best option for Dark Katana, because normally you're looking at it going, I don't know, I kind of want to use this rapid hit. That would be too easy. I kind of want to use this rapid hit electric spell. And he's like, but there's stuff that works well for... This is going to be interestingly difficult for a mono-element wind. And I was thinking about going with the retro floor plan again, but I think if this goes well, then I'll worry about retro floor plan. And that was 87 damage right there. For, like, just starting out, that's pretty good. But there's also the notion that needs to be dispelled that there is one element or that the elements necessarily have a tier list. They all kind of have their thing. And whereas Freeze definitely seems like it's the strongest status effect, why yes, I am going in circles, thank you very much. One thing that has to be taken into account is that they all kind of do their own thing. Like, wind tends to lean more towards fast, rapid hitting spells. Ooh, I definitely want to take Blur and Falconry. So what the hell, let's do it. That'll give us some range control on top of everything else. But yeah, wind spells are typically fast-hitting, and whereas they tend to score a lot of hits, those hits aren't always very strong. Ooh, screwed up there. Which means wind is typically good for things like critical hits or control measures. Also, since I did just get pretty badly beaten up, let me go grab this health orb over here real quick. Fire is typically all about damage, which is why its status effect doesn't even necessarily really hold the enemy still very much. It's just literally all about piling on more damage. Shock doesn't last as long, but it also holds the enemy still. Oh, really, big guy? Water is a little bit slower, but tends to hit a little bit harder, but also has things that are particularly good at keeping the enemy from reaching you. And Earth is pretty much all about defense, as one could maybe gather from things like Stalwart Defenders and the things that have a huge amount of knockback on Earth. Like, it's not a perfect analogy, but every element brings something to the table. But I would hardly say that that's it, because, again, you have to take into account the idea that there's supposed to be something that encompasses multiple different build ideas from each element. So whereas, yeah, you have things like Perforating Jet that hit fast on the air element. You also have things like Dragon Blast and Airborne Slam. Now, it's not as prevalent because that's not necessarily what the air element is supposed to be good at. But it is there. So I guess when I hear someone say, "Oh, this element is so weak because, you know, X, Y, Z," it's like, yeah, it does have some weak spells, but it also has some really strong spells. What's more important isn't necessarily the strength of the element, but it's how you use each individual spell. And again, I think it's just really kind of disingenuous to say that an element is weak if it has a lot of arcana that do light damage. That's right, Bird. I'm telling you. Alright, we can get this upgraded now. Now, as far as why I didn't take the Nev's Wind Jewel, I already did a Nev run. Now I just kind of want to do a run. What I will say is that a spell having low damage doesn't necessarily do it. I mean, something to keep in mind is Wind Sentry. Oh, perfect. Oh, hey. Because some spells aren't designed strictly for damage. Some spells are designed for control. And I think it's important to make sure you understand that distinction. Also, why did Nocturne have to show up here when I couldn't take advantage of his services? I actually think the developers went through a lot of trouble to try to balance the elements as best they could. Which I guess is part of the reason why something like Laced Lightning exists, because electricity does have a lot of good spells. Let's just get that out of the way now. Things like Thundering Chain, Bouncing Surge, and Bolt Rail. Like, there's a lot to like about the electric element. So, best way to balance that out, I guess, is to make a few true stinkers like Surge. You know, like Surge Anchor. And the aforementioned Laced Lightning. Now, you could just tune down some of those spells themselves, and on some of them they did. But what it really comes down to is sometimes the design docs are just what they are, and sometimes it's hard to find a way to change them. I mean, I don't have a use for this, but colors. I like colors. Do you like colors? I like colors. Especially Sonic colors. Woo! So in my opinion, I don't think it's fair just to say a spell or an element is necessarily good or bad. Because I think what really deserves analysis is just the spells themselves. What element they are is almost kind of secondary to the conversation at hand. Now, there was a time in which the element of the spells mattered a lot more, and yeah, in individual runs it can matter because you're... Oof. Fading Petal. Alright, more wind. So I could have used the Nev's Jewel, but again, I chose not to because I wanted to just show what wind itself could do when it doesn't have necessarily the perfect elemental backup. But before the game was, more or less what I would say is complete. There were only 3 actual bosses. It was Atlas, Freya, and Zeal. So think about this. Back then, it actually was a fact that the fire element was one of the weakest elements because no one was weak to it. And electricity was actually one of the strongest. Well, no, not electricity. There was one element that no one truly resisted, but there was someone who was weak to it. So it just made the whole conversation lopsided. And back then, things truly were unbalanced. And this is 2 runs in a row with Dice of the Nemesis. Oh me, oh my. And now I have options. Do I take Gust Volley or do I take Dragon Blast? I don't know, the only reason why I'm even waiting is because I'm wondering if Dr. Song is going to show up and I don't know, because here's good old what's his name? My name is Nox, you shithead. Oh yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, when you can clearly see that the air element is not exactly bereft of any of the power of the other elements, what it pays to think about is that maybe the problem isn't the element itself, but just a lack of knowledge on how to build around it. And I hate to say that sounding like such a rude jerk about it, but it does bear thinking about. And maybe the best course of action is just to experiment with some of the arcanas that you don't use very often. Because you will find things that you appreciate. Because after the Phantom update, Wind Slash actually got pretty decent, especially after it gets upgraded. But yeah, when the game first released, Wind Slash was just kind of a meh. Now it's actually pretty decent. But yeah, I think again it's just a matter of knowing what you're using. And if you haven't tried it recently, try out Airburst. Because before it just did this minor little push, I was like, okay, what is the point of this? But they really changed that one up, and it actually is pretty viable. Ah. And yeah, I could just blame myself entirely, but at the same time, why are nitroglycerin barrels even there? Oh, baby! You know we have to take that Crimson Clover there. There's just no debate. Now, if I could find the Curse Eater's mask, that would just be amazing. You know, Dark Sage, the Arcana that you've chosen seem to work really well together. Yeah, it's almost like I was putting together a combo, huh? But that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that sometimes you can't just judge it as, okay, that's interesting. Alright, so all of these have the common thread of things happening when upon taking damage. I wish they stacked, but they don't, so... There we go. And some of those are likely to be replaced. Yeah, by the way, I'm just not a big fan of the air balloon. But yeah, there's even more that can be replaced there should I so choose. Like, even these relics aren't necessarily set in stone if I find something that's just freaking amazing. Like, I can see the Hunter Stiletto over there, and that'll work really nicely with Airburst. Alright, so let me think about what I want to put down. Over here, buddy. I think I'll put down Lay's Drum, actually. Dark Sage, why are you valuing the unicorn tail higher than Lay's Drum? Mostly because I'm kinda hoping that I'll find the unicorn outfit. Oh, hold on, we just found Royal Flush. Okay, so... go ahead and drop the reactive Vine Mail for that. Oh, I got unbuttons. I don't need that, but thank you. I mean, to be fair, every element has some weak arcana, but I don't think it's fair just to judge any of them by the general damage output of their spells. There we go. And yes, this combo is pretty good against Atlas. Owie! See, now you have to suffer. You could have just left me alone, but no. No, you decided it was better to knock me into a pit of red-hot death. I say to you, sir, how do you feel about your choices now? Your decisions in life, how they've defined you? Guys, I think Darksage is going crazy again. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to drop it now. I was hoping for the unicorn outfit, but now that the analytical monocle has shown up and basically solidified a super high critical chance, now I have to acknowledge that the unicorn tail needs to go in order for me to work with the best possible build I can do. There's the boss chamber. Alright. Don't get confused, just follow the road that you know. Well, like Main Street, yeah, like Main Street. Oh my goodness, Dice and the Nemesis just cleaning shop. And I meant to say cleaning house, but apparently my brain decided that multiple idioms needed to be put together. There we go. Ooh, if we get up to 100 coins, I definitely want to get that upgrade. I don't think that's gonna happen though. Getting the upgrade for Dragon Blast was just a little too spendy. But as you can see, with my critical hit chance being as high as it is, there's very little chance that anything survives my first couple of shots. So, ultimately what I'm getting at is just because you see a lot of people making the quote-unquote popular choice doesn't mean that the other choices are wrong. Hell, you can do a pretty viable critical hit Earth build. Exactly 100 coins, I love it. Now that's working on a budget. Also, this is 2 runs in a row where I've got ridiculous relics. Like, I've just got to point that out because yeah, you don't always get run with just an incredible array of relics like this. To have gotten 2 in a row is just... Ooh, I feel so good. Chef's kiss. Now, this is the type of run where you hope to... Well, yeah, I mean, you don't hope to see, like, the instant transmission glitch show up out of nowhere. That... Oh, and how did you get up here? Like, do I even want these questions answered, or is it better that I don't know? What in the world? Honestly, it's probably best that I don't know. Some information is best just not having. There. Oh, do I have anything I want to sell him? I mean, not really. I like everything I have. You have Curse Eater's Watch, though. I only have one cursed relic, though, so it's not really saying much. Now, you would improve my critical hit chances whenever I evade something with Kasim's Airy Cloak. So that's a maybe once I... Well, no, because I'm going to get Chaos Gems in other places. And yes, I know that there were comments recently made about self-healing options, but I am going to leave that for another time, because right now what I wanted to do is show that, you know, there really is no such thing as a weak element. And that's a freebie. Dice of the Nemesis coming in hot. Why yes, this is slow, thank you very much, but it's worth the extra cash. See, that's what I was missing about getting to see Cremire the Collector more often, is that he was always good for helping me out of financial binds, because there was always a relic or two laying around that I generally didn't want. Or felt would be better to trade in, because sometimes it is a relic that you want, but you need the cash more for something that would be better for your run. Like right now, I can very clearly see that I need a health potion. So thanks to Cremire, I can grab that. And let's have another look here. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do this. Alright, well that could have worked out better, but oh well. Then I will drop the jewelry box and pick up the Covert Ops mask. I don't often get a chance to use this thing, so this seems like the right time. Alright, getting my ass kicked hard. Alright, so maybe I should have kept the... Oh, hey, I forgot to upgrade that. So maybe I should have kept the jewelry box after all. Enemies are doing things that I rarely see out of them right now, and it's confusing me. Alright, so right now I kind of need both the Blurring Falconry upgrade and the Healing Potion. What to do about that? I think what you do is you take the Healing Potion, and then just work with a non-upgraded Blurring Falconry, because I could use some ranged control. There we go. Okay, that didn't work out for the life of me. There we go. Alright, maybe I was a little bit too worried about my level of health, but regardless. You see that the air element is not necessarily weak. What you might be doing is you might be either not understanding what the air element does, or you might have just not really experimented with any of the spells. So, were I you, by the way, the commenter for this one was one by the name of Pesho Mighty, so what you might want to do is pick up some of these spells that you haven't tried, and just take them for a spin, see which ones you like, see which ones you don't like. Because the problem isn't necessarily in how strong they are, it might be in which ones you're using. Because this run felt comfortable, at least until I decided that I didn't want to use Blurring Falconry, and I kind of paid for that one. I don't know, something about me just needs range control in order to feel comfortable. But anyway, that's enough of that for me. That's the run, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. It helps more than you know to get my channel out to people who may not know about it or might not see it but are interested in Wizard of Legend and gaming in general, honestly. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, hit up my social media, all the usual stuff, and I will see you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you.